So we're going to spend 5 minutes doing a little bit of a hip flow to restore some function to the hips that can get a little bit bogged down and a little bit grumpy from being sat and desk bound. It really won't take very long. You should definitely think about how you incorporate small mini active breaks into your working day to help with productivity. And so we're just going to run through a little easy sequence here to put a bit of life back into the hips. So step away from your desk. If you're going to do this in your office space, great. If you're going to do it at home, get out of the office space, come down to the living room, step outside, and we'll just work our way through it. So we're going to start in what's called a shin box position or a 90-90 position. So we're going to sit with our front knee making a square. So your knee is directly in front of your hip, and then you've got a 90-degree angle at the knee with the ankle out of the side. Your back hip does exactly the same thing. Your hip and knee are at a right angle to the body, and then you've got another right angle at the knee. And all we're going to do, we're going to use our hands to support if we need to. So my left hand's posted down on the floor here on the outside. I'm going to turn my torso towards my back knee, place my hand down, press both feet into the floor, lift that back knee as far as it will go, and then as I start to need to lift that back foot, I will keep my body facing forwards, turn and rock over and turn to the other side. Turn, hand down, lift, roll, and come to this side. I can do that with my hands off the floor. Great. I need to put a hand down here because my right hip's a little bit tighter. Turn and sit. Working each way, 3 times each way is perfectly fine. Moving nice and slow and controlled. And remembering that when I turn here, I'm pushing that back foot into the floor, lifting the knee, creating some space between my knees, keeping that distance, still turn facing that back foot and finish. So that's a 90-90 hip flow. We're just going to increase that slightly. So as I come around to the side now, once I come here, I'm going to post up. I'm going to push that knee and shin into the floor and open out my hips. I'm going to sit back down. I can use my hands to support where I need to. I turn over. I'm going to push that front knee into the ground and open out my hips. Again, we want 3 each way. Nice and slow and controlled. Go as slow as the body will let you go. Good. So from that 90 position, I turn, face that back foot, push both feet into the floor, get my knees far apart, turn, drop, push to that front knee and open the hip, and then I'll finish there. Good. That should warm this area up and get it feeling a little bit better. Next, we're going to get in a 4-point position and do a little bit of activation for the glutes now. So in that 4-point position, I come at a slight angle. Okay, hands underneath my shoulders, knees underneath my hips. And this is called a controlled articular rotation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my knee at 90 degrees, but I'm going to push my foot to the ceiling. And I want to feel a squeeze through my glute at that point, okay? Here. From that position, I'm going to take the knee out to the side, very much like a fire hydrant, like a dog having a pee over a fire hydrant. I'm going to bring that knee into a deep flex position and then run through that sequence once more. When I reach that extended point there, I want to make sure I'm controlling what's going on through my lower back. So I'm just thinking about getting my foot to the ceiling. I'm not lifting my head and shoulders as well. From there, keeping my foot high, I'm trying to take my knee out to the side, slowly down and through. One more time. So from the front down position, that knee comes far out to the side, and I'll bring it down and around and through. And then we repeat on the other side. So on the left side now, keeping that knee at 90 degrees, heel to the ceiling, knee out wide, and slowly control. And making sure you got good pressure down through your arms. so that when you come out here, we don't open and lean to one side. I'm trying to keep everything nice and square. So that one rep from a head-on position, heel to the ceiling, knee out wide, keep the knee high as I bring it through into a flex position and rest. And that should fire up and activate the glutes a little bit there. And the one last thing we're going to put in for today's flow is just a little bit of a hip opener. Now we've activated here a little, and we're going to come into a half kneeling position. And we're just going to do a little bit of a matrix. Okay, so in that front on position, my knee's underneath my head, my ankle is underneath my knee. And I'm going to start with both hands overhead, and I'm going to do 5 reps of just driving my knee forward. And in that side on position, you can see that I'm using my knee to drive forward, so everything, I don't leave my hands behind, everything moves forwards. The next 5 repetitions, we're going to lean over with the same arm as the back leg. As I drive that knee forwards, I'm leaning over to the one side. So from a side-on perspective, it's here. So that knee's still doing its thing, but now I'm leaning over and I should feel an opening through that back hip. Once I've done 5 there, the last one we're going to do is we're going to keep that knee drive going forwards, but now I'm going to rotate over my front leg and away from the back knee. Now I'm going to repeat all of those things on the other side. I'll do all of this in a 45-degree position to the camera so you can see what's going on. Hands above head, and we just start with the knee first. So the knee drives forward first, pelvis moves forward, torso moves forward, so I don't leave my hands behind because that's just going to jam down on the lower back. I want everything to move forward and the weight to be supported by my front leg. Once I've done 5 there, same arm as the back leg now, I'm going to reach side bend over in that direction. You can drop the non-working arm down to support if you need to, or you can swing with both hands, which increases the weight through here. Once I've done 5 there, I then do 5 rotations over the front leg, away from the back leg. And as I do so, I'm constantly, through all of those motions, using my knee as one of the drivers. Awesome. So we've had a little bit of rotational movement through the hips there, which they really crave. We've had a little bit of glute activation, which can help with hip function and supporting the lower back. And there's an opener for the front of the hips, which gets very tight because we're spending a long time in that seated 90-90 position. What we'll do, guys, is we will maybe start to run some of these live. I've taken a little bit more time today in explaining those exercises, but we'll run through them as a little mini class option, and we'll do them maybe every day. We'll see, biting off maybe more than I can chew there, but we'll certainly give them as an offering to you to factor into your working day. Just 5 minutes to break up your morning and possibly break up your afternoon, where you can take these exercises, do one of them, do all of them, do the ones that make you feel the best, that you get the best return from, and that way you can ensure that you're breaking up your working day to maintain productivity, but we're also minimizing any of the negative impacts from being inactive and being sat down a lot. If there's anything specific that you think needs further addressing, please reach out and let us know. Cheers.